Well, the US and China are the two biggest economies in the world. हम यूएस से काफी obsessed रहते हैं कि फेड क्या करने वाला है, कब क्यूई करेगा, when will Fed start QE and liquidity start flowing into risk assets, कब rally आएगी. But have we overlooked China? And वो जो euphoric epic bull run हमें चाहिए, is China the hidden ingredient to get that? We'll be talking about this and a lot more. I have Narkundi, I have Realist, I have Crypto Daddy. This is the Baaps of Crypto podcast. Let's go. Guys, नरकुंडी
परफेक्ट
Market-
परफेक्ट 3 सेकंड पहले
perfect.
मैं क्लिक करता हूँ, उसके बाद वो एकदम कट कर देता है उसको.
यस, मार्केट्स कहाँ डुबा रहा है तू? जल्दी बता दे आज. बीटीसी ईद कहाँ पहुंचा?
हाँ यार, बीटीसी फिर से फुस हो गया. क्या है ये
because you were
मतलब?
cautious. Because you were
Yeah, you were cautiously optimistic. Yes.
cautiously optimistic.
अगर लोग हमें constantly देखते हैं, तो I'm sure they must have saved some money by not making stupid bets on meme coins
Yeah.
on BTC when the day we told them don't get into this trap.
Yes.
हाँ
Yes.
ये तो यार जिम क्रेमर टीवी पे बोल सकता है तो हम लोग यूट्यूब पे तो बोल ही सकते हैं ना.
हम नहीं, तू
कॉन्फिडेंटली हो
Your-
एंड ही कम्स बैक टू इट.
Narkundi
और वो
the Narkundi
देता है.
indicator आज भी बिल्कुल टॉप पे बैठा हुआ है where he
Yes.
said it will go up और BTC वहां से
I have to zoom out.
Cautiously,
2009
it's been
से
cautious. It's been cautiously dumping since Narkundi has been cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
क्या करें.
So yeah.
Bonds भी liquidate
So,
होने हैं, सब है.
yes. तो आज चाइना को उड़ाते हैं थोड़ा. So China's share in the global economy is in the 1980 it was about 2%. Today it's about 18 to 19%. और पिछले थोड़े सालों में हम देख रहे हैं कि थोड़ी इकोनॉमी उनकी स्लो डाउन हुई है. इसकी वजह से for the past few months there have been reports कि China is planning a massive stimulus to boost its economy. पर कितना बूस्ट करेंगे या कितना स्टिमुलस वो पैकेज बना रहे हैं, दैट इज लाइक सॉर्ट ऑफ अनक्लियर. बिकॉज चाइना से हमेशा जो रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं, like they're not very sort of open, right? They're like opaque, like unlike the US, which is like very transparent. But nevertheless, history has shown us कि जब भी US and China both pump liquidity into the markets, we get a rally in the crypto markets. So is China the hidden ingredient for this rally that we are waiting for, or is it not? Let's start with you, Narkundi. Data क्या बोलता है? कि what do you see in the charts and what is happening?
ओके सो इसकी जो बैकग्राउंड रिसर्च किया सो काफ़ी डिफरेंट मेट्रिक्स है. आई मीन लाइक यस, जैसे तूने बोला कि लाइक हम लोग यूएस का ट्रैक कर रहे होते हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या करने वाले हैं, बट चाइना के साइड से इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट पिक्चर जो आ रही है फ्रॉम लास्ट 5 years इवन. सो आई लुक्ड एट देयर मेट्रिक्स लाइक इंटरेस्ट रेट क्या चल रहा है एंड काफ़ी डिफरेंट है. लेट मी ब्रिंग अप डेटा इटसेल्फ, उसके बाद बेटर हो जाएगा. ओके दिख रहा है ट्रेडिंग चाइना लोन रेट्स, इंटरेस्ट रेट्स. सो चाइना का 2020 तक स्टेबल था ऑलमोस्ट 4.3%. कोविड आया, ऑब्वियसली दे हैड टू डिक्रीज एंड दे बीन continuously decreasing interest rates. Now first thing I thought, okay, US में बढ़ाया बीच में 2022 onwards, इन लोग का क्यों कम हो रहा है? Turns out China में काफ़ी weak demand है domestically and they've been also hit by the real estate sector. There's a big, there used to be a bigger developer in China called Evergrande, and real estate and construction used to be 20% of China's GDP pre-COVID. And 50 developers have gone almost bankrupt. There's a weak demand for houses, 30% prices come हुई है. It's not looking good domestically for them. And the same logic is even in their car sector as well. उसमें भी आता है कि they're just dumping their cars produced in other markets, Middle East, wherever, that जो भी दाम में बिक जाए बेच दो उसको, बस चाइना के बाहर भेजो माल and भेजो. Now officially their GDP numbers have been at 5%. GDP quarterly growth, but again, like people say you can't trust the official numbers. Now on the other side, there's a new metric that I found which is called MLF. So it's called medium term lending facility, which the central bank lends to their domestic banks, and it against some collateral. So it's not that there's just free money. They give some collateral. It's 1-year duration loans. So as I looked at 3 main periods, so November 2023, December 23. Now these are more than 200 billion each in dollars. And last big one in 2025 was October 1. So that was around $140 billion. So liquidity has been coming in. Third main cheese is the stock market index as well. Last 5 years mein Chinese main jo Shanghai stock index hai, that's only given 13% growth in 5 years. Compare that to S&P, which has doubled, so 100% growth diya in 5 years. Now, depending on whether you're bullish on BTC, that 2026 should be good. I think if you add the liquidity factor, that yes, they need to add more money. Yes, they need to increase their GDP growth. And if that happens, will the liquidity go back into Shanghai Stock Exchange? It looks unlikely because investor confidence in their own stock market looks low. So if that stays the situation, then the money will start going offshore. Now, US, if it's coming into it, depends whether they think that AI run is over. S&P already bhag chuka hai kafi. If that's the case, gold already bhag chuka hai kafi. If that happens, then yes, a portion of that money could come towards BTC. But if you look at mapping all these metrics, so on this chart, ye jo R mark here, that was a 20 basis point cut. Another one was in October and November for 2024. That was also coinciding with the Trump election. So that was another 25 basis point cut. And jo marker dala for medium-term lending facility, that's also another 200 billion that's happened on these two signals. So on a pure timeline basis, it does look positive that if another stimulus happens, if another liquidity action happens on China's side, it should be positive for BTC.
Got it. Realist यार, एक तो there are US और China की economies में भी दो difference है, right? Where US is trying to go for like a soft landing in case slowdown आता है या जो भी होता है, China is trying to prevent कि कोई crash landing नहीं हो, right? उनकी economy तो they need to sort of boost their economy by a lot. And is this factor now, like, do you see that factor, which is like that liquidity is going to flow into the crypto markets? Because if you see,
I actually do believe that because यार मेरा जो thesis रहा है वो ये है कि I am very very bullish on the confluence of US and China stimulus entering retail and that money flowing in, because यार हमने कुछ दिन पहले ही discuss किया when Crypto Daddy also mentioned, right, कि शुरू के टाइम पे which is January के टाइम पे, right in the first week, why were markets pumping, right? Because people got their bonuses, they put money in, right? That's how people work. That's how people think, because when they get any amount of liquid cash, when they get any amount of free cash, that money often finds itself in volatile asset classes, right? Because everybody wants कि यार मेरा जो मुझे bonus मिला है, which is probably $100 bonus, hypothetically, I want that $100 to maybe become like a $500 or $1,000, right? Now, because of that, I'll probably be able to do XYZ spending. तो लोग करते हैं ऐसे. तो for example, अगर stimulus भी घुसता है लोगों के हाथ में, तो वो stimulus लोग चाहेंगे कि अगर मेरे को $2,000 stimulus मिलता है, तो चलो यार मैं 2 को 10 कर देता हूँ, right? या 2 का 20 बनाने की कोशिश करता हूँ. As I was saying, I'm very bullish on the confluence of two. तो पिछले बार जितने भी हमारे प्रॉपर बुल रन्स आए हैं, that's happened because money from west and east both have flowed in, right? We can't only depend on one, because west से तो यार इतने टाइम से institutional पैसा आ ही रहा है, but retail पैसा तब आएगा obviously जब like we said, it has nothing to do with monetary policy, because it eventually depends on cash in the hands of the end consumer, and US is yet to get there, but the kind of monetary policy commentary that's coming in from China, it's clearly showcasing that they're slowly and steadily moving towards more and more loose, because steady drip basis पे तो कम हो ही जा रहा था, how Narkundi showed, but now their commentary is moving towards कि भाई loose and expansionary, because they cannot afford a slowdown, right? Which Narkundi rightfully pointed out from his data. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on both sort of merging and both gearing towards putting cash in the hands of end retail. That's what's going to fuel the mad rally that we're expecting.
Got it. Crypto Addy?
Achha, yeah, so I have two things. एक चीज और नरकुंडी that you also want to look into is the M2 money supply. Okay, and how much is China sort of adding to the global M2 money supply? So one thing that I noticed recently is that China ka jo addition to the global M2 money supply has I think by 2026 that has increased to 37% of the total supply. So they are not they, one of the things that we need to focus is that a lot of liquidity is locked there. There's a lot of money stuck there, right? That's like 40 trillion out of the 130 trillion global supply, jo China se aa raha hai. And what has happened is recently Bank of China has said that they are going to move 2026 with a moderately loose policy, right? So again, like Realist said, they are going to put in stimulus, they are going to go with more lower rate cuts. So that liquidity is going to come in. अब मसला क्या होता है चाइना पे कि the capital injection is very controlled by the government. कि किधर पैसा जा रहा है किधर आ रहा है. But eventually what happens is that money sort of seeps through the Hong Kong ETFs, through risk assets, it seeps through stablecoin OTCs, right? और वो जो stablecoin OTCs चलते हैं वो कहाँ चलते हैं? They're not through China directly. The money moves from China to Hong Kong, to Vietnam, to Laos, and that is where the stablecoin OTC moves into crypto then. And usually that happens after like a 3 to 5 month lag, since the market moves the money in. How do we know that that money moves the crypto market up? If you remember the last cycle, right? उस time पे तुम्हारे पास retail, तुम्हारे पास institutional पैसा आ रहा था, तुम्हारे पास बड़े investors, VC बैठे हुए थे, who were sitting in Europe and who were sitting in the US. But जो retail पैसा था, I don't know if you guys have been into the last cycle investments or groups of TG पे launch होता था.
Yes, it was all Vietnamese and this, that.
They were all Vietnamese and Chinese and Koreans, right? Where was that money coming in from? That was the Chinese money that was moving across all the Southeast Asia, right? And we have not seen that retail market flood in as of yet into the crypto market. अभी तक हमने वो वाली market आते हुए देखी नहीं है. Where, because उस time पे क्या होता था, one TG group, एक token किसी के बारे में बात हो रही होती थी, and the Vietnamese or the Koreans would pump that token up to like 40x, 50x, एकदम pump कर जाता था within like couple of weeks. We haven't seen those. So वो जो हम एक massive bull market की बात करते हैं ना, वो तब आती है when you have retail crowd like this coming in and sort of pushing those tokens up. So I think that will happen for sure. और वो तभी होगा जब ये stimulus checks और ये पैसे market में वापस आएंगे. So yes, I agree with Realist. I'm also very bullish on the sentiment. I'm also bullish on the sentiment that I think where like Narkundi said के चाइना में उनके अपने लोगों के पास कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है उनके अपने उस पे शंघाई स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे. आई थिंक इट्स नॉट कॉन्फिडेंस, आई थिंक दे जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर द राइट मोमेंट, बिकॉज दे नो ऑल्सो कि उनकी गवर्नमेंट किस तरह चल रही है. दे हैव बीन स्टॉक पाइलिंग सिल्वर, दे हैव बीन होल्डिंग ऑन टू एआई स्टॉक्स, दे हैव बीन डूइंग एवरीथिंग बिहाइंड द बैक. तो even the traders there are smart, they're holding on, they're waiting for the time to basically inject money in, and then when that happens it's going to explode everything.
Yeah, so I mean this data came out that Chinese households are sitting at savings of about 160 trillion yuan. तो वो भी एक पैसा लेके हाउसहोल्ड जो है वो बैठे हैं, they're in savings, but उन्होंने कहीं लगाया नहीं है वो पैसा.
Exactly.
160 trillion yuan.
Yes.
How much is that in USD? 22 billion?
200 billion होगा. Around $200 billion.
No, it's more.
It's more?
Saying 22 trillion.
नहीं, 22 trillion नहीं हो सकता है. How can 1.6 trillion yuan be 22 trillion?
1.6? I thought you said 160.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 160 trillion. 160 trillion.
अरे.
हाँ. Oh, sorry, 1.6 है. Sorry.
अबे क्या कर रहे हैं यार?
Yeah. अच्छा. Another thing, एक ये सब.
220 billion.
Alright, fine. I agree कि ये जो है कि हम बोल रहे हैं कि China will pump liquidity ये वो, but one factor that we haven't considered is the man sitting in the White House, right?
The orange man, yeah.
He is picking
the orange
up
man, yeah.
the orange man, right? He is picking up at least if not a trade war with China seems inevitable, sort of like a little bit, he's cornering them on several markets. Chips की supply इधर उधर कर रहा है, तो this might lead to a broader sort of trade war, if not like a real war. उसका क्या असर हो सकता है कि what do you guys think about that?
Who wants to go
Realistic,
first?
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly speaking, I think the world has been grappling with the threats of a trade war than an actual trade war. Like the first time that a trade war happened was back in 2017, if you guys remember, right?
Yeah.
That's when the first glimpses of a trade war sort of started. And now we're sort of seeing with, I think it was a couple of hours ago, or maybe like a day back, or maybe 2 days back, I don't remember, but Trump just announced that he's going to now apply 500% tariffs for people who are engaging in Russian oil. So stuff like that. So I think the world has been grappling with the whole idea of trade wars for quite some time. And if you think about it, the markets have risen all the way from 2017 to where we are right now, right? I don't think these things are that important. Yes, global trade is important from an economic perspective, but from a clear market standpoint, markets move on, right? Because I think all of us here can sort of attest to one thing, and that is markets are a discounting machine, whether it's on the way up, whether it's on the way down, right?
Yeah.
And all of these things can get discounted very easily. अभी तक मेरे को इससे कोई मतलब I wouldn't say कि डर लग रहा है मुझे इससे, या I see the markets getting
But
negatively
what
impacted
about
because we have
from
more
like
to look forward to.
yeah, but what about from like a central bank perspective? China का क्या PBoC है, right? From their
Yeah, PBoC.
perspective, if they are in a trade war with China, will they still boost their economy by stimulus, or will they have to then like उनको फिर करना ही पड़ेगा stimulus because they're in a trade war?
You actually answer the question yourself कि उनको करना ही पड़ेगा, because if you're not reliant on external consumption, you will have to boost internal consumption. But then internally भी पता नहीं कितना ही consume कर सकती है China, क्योंकि by the end of the day, like we know of their real estate projects, they are sitting ghost towns, right? Which is why we saw that entire issue with the real estate crisis that sort of started developing, which is, so Evergrande also started happening during, if I remember clearly, it was 2018, I think, जब Evergrande का crisis शुरू हुआ था, I think, जब वो news में आया था.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID, yeah. So 2017, 2018, 2019, I don't remember the exact timeline. So करना ही पड़ेगा, like you rightfully mentioned, but I don't think like this global trade turmoil is that much to worry about, because मेरे को क्या लगता है ना, by the end of the day इन सब चीजों से होता क्या है कि महंगाई बढ़ जाती है usually, because people usually end up passing on these costs. So tariffs get passed on to the consumers. But yeah, I don't see that, and which can then be counteracted by sort of a loose monetary policy in domestic markets. तो मेरे हिसाब से इतना इशू नहीं है. हाँ, इकोनॉमिकली स्पीकिंग दिस इज डेफिनेटली नॉट अ वर्ल्ड दैट यू वांट टू लिव इन जहाँ पे फ्री ट्रेड पॉसिबल नहीं है, बट मार्केट्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से आई डोंट सी दिस टू बी अ मेजर सेटबैक. अगर होगा तब उस टाइम पे आई मीन वील हैंडल इट, वील ट्रेड द मार्केट दैट इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस, बट अभी आई डोंट थिंक दैट टू बी अ स्ट्रक्चरल issue, because there are more structurally optimistic things to look forward to rather than stuff like this.
Got it. Crypto ID.
Yeah, no, I also think like Realist said, the market is sort of become immune to this, right? I mean, about a year ago when these trade wars, पहले तो trade war होता था कि where the governments would say कि यार we're going to impose such tariffs या हम इस तरह की trade deficit लगाएंगे, and that made sort of sense. जब से Trump power में आया, these trade wars were more like threats, right? And शुरू में the market sort of reacted to them. Now the markets have become immune to it. कि यार अगर वो लगा ट्रेड वॉर हो भी जाती है, वो डायरेक्ट बोलेगा 200-300%, 400-500% ही बोलेगा, एक हफ्ते बाद, 2 हफ्ते बाद, probably a month बाद, they're going to have a discussion, they're going to negotiate, and the price, they're going to come down to a agreeable tariff rate, right? Do you call this a trade war? No, I don't think this is trade war. I think these are just scare tactics that he uses eventually to get people to come on the table and sort of get things done according to his way. So jab tak the orange man is in the Oval Office, I think we are not really at the risk of trade wars. Yeah, because the market is again become immune to it. They've sort of learned how to cope up with it. They've learned how to move about it. So, and like Realist said, अगर कोई trade war अगर इस तरह शुरू होती भी है, तो we'll trade accordingly when we'll trade the market whatever comes in front of us. It doesn't really move the needle too much either upside or downside.
Got it. Narkundi.
Yeah, I mean, they've already mentioned clearly, but वही था कि I mean Feb में S&P was at 5K न्यूज़ आए टैरिफ ये सब का मार्केट का ओवर रिएक्शन हुआ, बट इन जस्ट 4 months इट केम बैक टू द सेम लेवल और अभी 6900 क्रॉस हो गया है. सो फर्स्ट जो ओवर रिएक्शन था उसके बाद से इतने यू टर्न्स हुए हैं स्टेटमेंट्स पे दैट मार्केट्स आर जस्ट इग्नोरिंग इट एंड ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ स्मूथ लाइन बनते जा रही है. सो विल इट हैपन अगेन? यू कैन बी श्योर. अभी 3 साल और बाकी हैं ट्रम्प के. सो every week is like a new Pandora's box of statements that'll come out. But yeah, I think markets are mainly choosing to ignore that noise.
So, Crypto, you mentioned one thing about Hong Kong ETFs, right? And one of the things is like still Chinese mainland companies are not allowed to sort of invest in crypto. There's like a massive ban in trading crypto for mainland Chinese companies. Uska kya asar pada hai? They say, will there any institutional money sort of come through these ETFs or not? Because अभी तक तो जो हम देख रहे हैं ये ETFs में they're not like really any volume जब से announce हुए हैं.
Yeah, that is a thing. So and that is what we're actually looking for. अभी तक तो नहीं है, but you think those companies are not waiting for them to get access to those ETFs? They are, right? वो ये जो हम बोल रहे हैं ना कि सारा पैसा स्टॉक पाइल हुआ हुआ है, मार्केट में नहीं जा रहा, they are waiting for all of that to happen. And I will tell you also one thing that China ने अभी बड़े बैन लगाया हुआ है, ये करा हुआ है. There's only a matter of time, they work systematically. वो एक चीज लेके चलते हैं and then they move on to the next and then the next and the next. And eventually they will come down to where they will allow क्रिप्टो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स थ्रू ऑफ दिस चाइनीज फर्म. वो अपने पहले वो शुरू करेंगे कि आप चाइनीज क्रिप्टो प्रोडक्ट्स में इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, ईटीएफ चाइनीज जो चाइना बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट्स उस पे इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, एंड देन दे आर गोइंग टू ओपन अप. इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम एंड आई थिंक दैट विल हैपन. इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ व्हेन.
Got it. All right. Anything else anyone wants to add? नहीं तो फिर आज की न्यूज़ क्या चल रही है उस पर मूव ऑन करते हैं.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do news.
All right. ठीक है.
नया ताजा क्या है अभी?
नया ताजा तो यार
ZCash.
ZCash.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yes.
We're not discussing XRP today. Okay.
It's ZCash. Today's main
Boom, boom.
story. Yeah. ZCash के devs जो हैं, they have left. And,
the entire team left, right?
The entire team left, yes, over governance issues. And it's plunging now. So what do you guys have to say about that?
But it did not. So if you look at the chart, it plunged, but right now it's stabilized. वो जब न्यूज आई 1 घंटे का प्लंज आया उसमें, and it came down to very basic levels. It didn't really go further down, and it's still sort of holding price. I don't know क्या story है, but the market's sort of holding it up.
यानी लोगों को लग रहा होगा ना कि अभी थोड़े दिन पहले इतना भागा था, तो एटलीस्ट हो सकता है दिस इज लाइक अ गुड प्राइस टू बाय, बट कैन ऑलवेज गो टू जीरो, राइट? बिकॉज क्यों भागा था पता नहीं.
Catching a falling knife.
No idea, bro. But I remember when it was at 5:30 or 5:40, I was thinking, I think it's good enough time to short it. I didn't. Now in hindsight, I should have.
Okay, but what about their dev team, right? Was it an external dev team या उनकी internally dev team थी? Because the dev team was like some ECC या कुछ ऐसे कुछ नाम था उनका, like,
No, that's
right?
the board.
Yeah, electronic coin company.
Electronic coin company.
So,
Yeah,
I think it's an internal team. I think because the electronic coin company must be, so ZCash must be a product by the electronic coin company, like a lot of these dev companies have, right? So and what they've done is sort of separated away themselves from ZCash. Now I don't know if they've left electronic coin company, the entire team has left that, or they just dropped ZCash as a product out of their portfolio. वो नहीं पता अब क्या हो रहा है. And apparently the news is that they're going to go and start something new.
okay, another token.
another cash token coming in probably.
Yeah, but इन सब केस में क्या होता है ना, इन टाइप के जो ओजी टाइप के कॉइन्स होते हैं, इनके यूजुअली ना देयर डेव टीम्स आर यूजुअली लाइक कम्युनिटी सॉर्ट ऑफ रन.
Okay.
So honestly, I don't know how Zcash like normally worked, but like कोई भी अगर मतलब मुझे पता नहीं इस पे तो खैर वैसे डेवलपमेंट क्या हो रहा था इसके पहले भी तो but जो भी है, I think it can be carried on by other people who sort of come in. This could probably be an interesting change of hand as well. But yeah, I feel sorry for the people who probably bought the top. Yeah, But इन सब चीजों में वही है कि once it's common knowledge, you're probably too late. So this is one of those stories. Yeah, this is probably like when nobody was talking about it, like the way it ran up from like a $30 all the way to that $600 mark. Yeah, so that was the meat of the move. अब obviously जो भी लोग consolidation phase में घुस रहे हैं, they are susceptible to these kind of risks, and this is one of those risks.
True. ठीक है. Obviously you spoke a little bit about this, that आज इंडिया का स्टॉक मार्केट गिरा हुआ था because of Donald Trump saying कि हम 500 billion tariff लगाएंगे, all of that. 500%, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hyperliquid tops, blockchain fees in the past 24 hours, followed by EdgeX and Tron. EdgeX, I don't know. Why does EdgeX have more volume than Ethereum?
I mean, could be a bunch of bots transferring tokens between themselves, right? Like, that's great. Like, I don't know why the others aren't doing that. मतलब आई एम सीइंग कि लिस्ट में जो बाकी है उनके पास पैसों की कमी थोड़ी है.
तो उतने भी नहीं खर्चा जाता है ना.
Heard about them.
Yeah, nobody has. Even their team has not. I don't think their team also knows they are working for EdgeX.
ये कैसे हो गया?
तो एक और स्टेबल कॉइन आ गया तुम्हारा. नहीं, अच्छा सॉरी, ये क्या है? ये एक
300
फ्लोरिडा स्ट्रेटेजिक रिजर्व लग रहा है.
Florida has introduced a bill to create a strategic reserve and allowing up to 10% of key public funds to hold BTC and ETFs. US में तो चलो यानी काफी अडॉप्शन चल रहा है. या स्टेट्स का, सॉरी मैं इसकी बात कर रहा था. वायोमिंग ने एक और sort of stable coin launch कर दिया है. First US state issued stable coin. Yeah, dollar front FRNT. Yeah.
Wow. On Solana. Pump fund पे टोकन लॉन्च कर दिया अपना.
ठीक है. All right, Binance has announced that they have launched a 24/7 futures trading for gold and silver.
क्या बात है.
Nice.
And
because
yes,
they had one more market to manipulate.
Yeah, exactly.
इसको कर पाएंगे? Yeah, obviously like futures trading है तो कर ही पाएंगे.
Futures है, market makers बैठाएंगे, करेंगे आराम से.
Yeah.
Derivative
because यार इनके price feeds तो internal है ना. API में एक glitch करना है.
बस हल्का सा 10th अक्टूबर की तरह एक glitch. Sorry बोलना उसका.
Yeah. So Tether and Rumble have launched a non-custodial crypto wallet enabling users to tip content creators in USDT, Tether Gold and Bitcoin directly through Rumble's platform. And another story is that Trump family's crypto project World Liberty Financial applies for US banking license. But यही बचा था, बैंक भी बन जाएंगे और सब कुछ यही कर लेंगे.
भाई उसने आफ्टर टर्म के बारे में भी तो सोचना है.
Yes. अगर आफ्टर टर्म में गया ना अभी तो वो ये भी प्लान कर रहे हैं कि मे बी अ थर्ड टर्म इज पॉसिबल, कि एक वो भी चल रहा है.
या वो कुछ तो कर रहा है. I don't think it's constitutionally possible for them.
We don't know what's possible, right? कल तक तो मुझे ये भी नहीं लग रहा था कि वो वेनेजुएला जाके मडूरो को उठा लेगा. So anything is possible at this point.
That's true. So true.
सोते हुए वो.
Yeah, सोते हुए. अच्छा, fun fact कि मडूरो ने जो ट्रैक सूट पहना हुआ था, right? That is flying off the shelves in Manhattan and other cities.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was a Nike track, right?
Yeah, it's a Nike top seller right now.
What a world we are living in, man.
Socialist leader wearing Nike tracksuit. Getting caught or everything getting sold out. Chalo.
No, and all this is majorly being bought by all content creators. सब वो tracksuit पहन के content बना रहे. So
why not?
That was like
Nike पे investment करिए friends and company ने.
Yes. ठीक है भाई, चलो. Good talk. Please like, share, subscribe, leave comments, and अगर आपको नरकुंडी को कुछ गालियां देनी हो तो भी comments में आप डाल सकते हैं. But we will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.
Adios, boys. Take care.
Adios.